And right now, the Cake Kitchen, we welcome in Mariefiebach from Feed Your Family tonight. She stops by now and again to help us out when we're in a pinch, right? And with the 4th of July coming up, a lot of us want to impress, but also keep it a little bit easier because we have so much going on, Marie.
That's just it. Today we're making my slow cooker baked beans for a crowd. This really does feed a crowd, and you can make it up the day before. As a matter of fact, like for today, I actually cooked it overnight and then just set it on low until I was ready to bring it to the studio here today. So you can really make it ahead. And we start by making the sauce. I put in 2 cans of crushed tomatoes. And this sauce, I make in the blender. You don't have to, but my kids don't like little chunks of tomatoes, so this gives me an extra assurance that there isn't a chunk of tomato in there.
You gotta trick them.
And then 3/4 of a cup of brown sugar and 1 cup of water. And then here's the spices, really simple. A tablespoon of chili powder, a teaspoon of garlic powder, and a teaspoon of salt. And that doesn't seem like a lot of salt, but you'll find out that we have a lot of other salty ingredients in this. And 2 tablespoons of yellow mustard. And I don't measure, I just squirt.
It. I love you. You eyeball it, but it always turns out perfectly.
Exactly. And then you really don't have to blend this very long. I just put it in my blender, and I blend it for about 15 seconds. And that's our sauce. Now the next part is making the actual beans in your slow cooker. And this is a really specific technique. And it makes a difference what order the ingredients go in the slow cooker.
Really?
Yes, because the slow cookers heat from the bottom and the sides, and you want to make sure your fat of your bacon renders. Otherwise you get just like a fatty chunk inside your baked beans, and nobody wants to eat just a fatty chunk. But if you put them on the bottom, the fat will render, and then as it slow cooks, it will rise up through the beans and flavor it as it goes. This is 1.5 pounds of just regular bacon that I've cut into chunks. These beans I soaked overnight in salt water. So 2 pounds of Great Northern beans with 2 tablespoons of salt, and you cover them with water and then put an extra couple of inches of water.
Now, do you have to keep them refrigerated or anything while they soak?
No, room temperature on the counter, and they're going to soften up a little bit, and they're also getting some of that salt. So we have 2 more salty ingredients, bacon and salted beans.
Now I see.
Then you cover it with a layer of chopped onions. This is 2 just plain yellow onions that I've chopped. And here's the tempting part, do not stir it. Because if you stir it, you ruin these layers that cause the fat of the bacon to render. And then all you do is pour the sauce right over the top. You put the cover on your slow cooker and you cook it on low for 9 to 10 hours. Now, you can stir it after about 7 or 8 hours because by then the bacon fat has rendered. And you end up with these lovely beans that have chunks of meaty bacon without having a lot of those fatty chunks of bacon in them. And it serves a really big crowd.
I do like that because it's hard, right? It's hard to make that big side dish that you want to take, but you know, you want to make sure that you feed everybody and everybody gets a taste of this because it looks so good.
Yeah, absolutely. It's hearty. I'll tell you what, I'm the grill guy normally for my festivities. It's going to be tough when people are saying, I don't need a second hot dog. I'm going to go back for seconds of the beans. It might work out that way, but man, it's because it's so good, Marie. I've been munching on this for a while. So there is your wonderful 4th of July hot dog with your slow cooker baked beans from Mariefiebach. And right next to the main dish here is your planner, your weekly planner.
Right, so this is my meal planning notebook, and you know how I talked about how you have to soak those beans? They need to soak for 12 to 24 hours. There is a place on my meal planning notebook to write prep, and I encourage families to write the prep on the day you need to do it, not the day for the recipe. So if I'm gonna cook these beans on Thursday, on Wednesday, I'm putting soaked beans. Okay. And so that's a place to how you can use that meal planning notebook. It's available on my website at feedyourfamilytonight.com.
It's so nice because sometimes you forget about that and then all of a sudden you're in a pinch, but you've got that place to know that, okay, today I need to prep, and it's so easy.
That's just it. It takes a little bit of work, but if you think ahead, it's great.
All right, if you're falling behind, you can't like try to cheat and put it like 5 hours on high, right, with all this?
I have not tried it that way.
Okay.
It probably would work. And some people will cook beans without soaking them, but getting that salt water into them helps with the texture.
Sure.
It helps with nutrient absorption, and it just makes them creamier. I really like my beans soaked ahead of time.
Find your recipe and so much more at feedyourfamilytonight.com. There's a Facebook group, there's a podcast. Certainly a great place to go if you're looking for some ideas. We will be right back.